This is the DP Show,
where insanity sounds sane.
And now, the man, the myth, the legend in his own mind, D. Palmer.
Yeah, the DP Show back online on iTalk 1067. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, however you did it. Thanks for tuning in. I'm DS Palmer. Got a little bit on my mind today about the whole Batman thing. Just watched that a couple days ago. I've spent the last few days really kind of trying to digest and absorb it. My first response after watching it was I did not care for it at all. 2 days later, I still do not care for it at all. From a narrative standpoint, I thought that it was just way too ambitious. It was almost 2.5 hours, I believe, of nonstop action where the Nolans never really made much of an effort to expound upon anything or deliver anything with any depth. It was just go, 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 stuff, 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 all the time, stuff, like crazy. It was too much stuff. If you're going to make a movie for 2.5 hours, at least choose to do something well. And many of you might be saying, well, yeah, the action sequences were awesome. No, they weren't. They were goofy. They were goofily choreographed. They made very little sense. It seemed like sometimes it was just like some sort of high school-like circle where Bane and Batman squared off to duke it out, whereas everybody else with their machine guns were punching each other in the face. Forgive me if I would not try to find a moment where I might be able to reload said machine gun and begin shooting people with it, if only for a few moments to spare my hands the agony of punching somebody like they were clubs. Very little of it made any sense, did the Batman movie, and I think a lot of that was just because Nolan thought that he had so much stuff that he wanted to talk about, but yet in so doing, never really talked about anything. And from the best that I could tell, the overall message was that there was going to be some sort of reckoning, his words, because rich guys of Gotham City had been doing too much to exploit and live on the shoulders of the poor. They had done all the taking, and now Bane at certain points is going to tell them that they are going to, the rich, get to go out there and see exactly how everybody else has lived. In fact, when he finally takes control, he is going to say something along those lines. And a lot of what he does to take control, and I'm going to do a little bit of spoiling here, was the whole thing with the stock exchange, or he's going to go in there and tell him, oh man, there's no money. Somebody says to Bane, then why are you here, brother? He responds, does not, okay, whatever. And then he goes to the football game and winds up telling everybody to go back and take what is rightfully theirs. And, there's a line in Rage Against the Machine where they scream something to the effect of they don't want the G-Ride, they want the machines that are making them, where this seems like Batman might have been considering going in a direction along those lines, but instead what he incites is this orgy of theft and violence where Citizen is going, especially to the rich people, and taking all their stuff from them as if this had been rightfully theirs, because they had been working so hard for so little pay or something, I don't know. It seemed awful Sociology 101. At this point, we don't have enough stuff, so we're going to go take other people's stuff because we've never been able to get the same stuff that those other people have been able to get. Wah! All right, I don't know if that is exactly what Nolan was saying. I don't know if he was offering this as a criticism. The one thing that was perfectly clear was that the message had been, you have been oppressed, and some self-elevated figure was going to come and provide you with some sort of revolution and freedom to then go and get what is yours. His words, not mine. All that they were doing, essentially, was exchanging one oppressor in their employers for another, because with this freedom and revolution came martial law. The streets had a lot of police on them. Just at this point, they were ragtag, revolutionary sorts of police, but they were policing nonetheless. Everybody had curfews that they had to deal with, and furthermore, they had to fear each other. So this revolution that they brought on so they can go back and take back Gotham and take back all their stuff wasn't really much of a revolution at all. In fact, it was a lot like prison, up to and including the way that they were trapped within there, and I'm not surprising anybody with that. If you've seen the commercial, you've seen how the bridges were destroyed, so on and so forth. So then it seems as if Nolan's message through all that is that people are too blind and selfish to be productive. Or, in fact, what Bane is trying to do is make a case with their own actions that we need to go back to the first installment of this trilogy, where the League of Shadows was going to kill Gotham because it was just too wicked. See, look, I made you free. And what do you guys do with your freedom? Bane could be saying, is you go out there and you steal it from everybody and you take all this stuff that isn't yours. You're not fit to live. I don't know if, again, that was the message of it all, because there was just so much going on. They never really paid any great attention to any one element of the movie. It was just stuff, high velocity stuff, more stuff. Gotta go fast so we can get stuff in. Stuff. Not a great way to form a narrative. That was just one of the many reasons why I didn't care for it. But the other thing that I didn't really care for was that Bane had gone out of his way to do, and I won't tell you how he goes about this, but he tries to eliminate the police force. One thing that is made perfectly clear from Batman is that the only reason why we are not at each other's throats is because of these virtuous and well-disciplined cops that are here to protect and serve, up to the point where they're essentially going to sacrifice their own lives so they can try to help these people who had been pillaging and marauding for now months take back the city and do what they're supposed to do, wake up in the morning, go to work, wipe their feet, so on and so forth, and etc. And it is yet another self-elevated figure in Batman that is going to come and try to save the day with these noble and virtuous cops. I do not agree with much of this. I believe, generally, that there are people who will do the right thing when given the time to do it, that we do not need to have this coercive force, whether it be the police, the government, whatever, standing behind us, trying to make sure that we can be browbeaten into doing the right thing. Now, that having been said, I believe that if everybody is doing something wrong and stupid, and it is a very high volume wrong and stupid, meaning like an entire city of 12 million people doing it, that everybody's going to fall in line pretty quickly. If you need evidence of that, just drive the I-10 between Phoenix and Tucson, where everybody drives stupidly, and everybody else follows in suit with stupid driving. So maybe in that case, Bane might be right. But if we are expected to just try to live and get along, and knew, first and foremost, that there was not going to be any sort of police force there browbeating us into submission with the parking tickets and the speeding tickets and the excuse me ma'am sorts of things, then I don't think necessarily that history is full of examples that show that as soon as the police force is no longer made available, that everything just descends into this mad orgy of theft and reclamation. I don't believe that they meaning the producers and directors and writers in Batman, really have much of a leg to stand on there. All that this really is suggesting that we have all of these betters that are around to make sure that we don't make ourselves too sick, whether that be with what we're consuming, how we are behaving, what we are taking, so on and so forth, how we are working. That to me was the overall message of Batman. You left to your own devices are helplessly stupid. But the thanks to some people who are willing to serve, Harvey Dent, for example, we are going to be able to pull through this with the help of these betters. Boo. Boo, Batman. I strongly disagree. Thank you for tuning in. This has been the DP Show at 106.7 and 106.7.com. Thanks a lot. Go ahead and click the like button if you did indeed.